Have you ever had people look at you when you walk in a room and like, you don't belong there? You're not what they were expecting. Whether they say it or they look at you like that, I realized that this was going to be my life pattern starting my senior year in high school. I grew up in Detroit. Any Michigan people here? What up? Well, it's a predominantly black city, went to a predominantly black school, and I knew that I wanted to experience diversity. So when it was time to apply for colleges, I was a little different. My guidance counselor, who was a genius in getting us into these schools, would not help me apply to other schools that were not historically black colleges. And I had to make a decision. Do I do what they wanted me to do, or do I go down the path I wanted? So I ended up going to Central Michigan, becoming a Chippewa. Then I got on the train and went 2,500 miles to another city called Mountain View in Silicon Valley in California. And I didn't go into tech. I went into corporate banking, which I was not planning on doing. But once I got into that field and was managing Fortune 500 companies' money, when I told someone I worked at a bank, they were like, "Oh, you're a teller." Like, nope, not a teller. But when I would have to go on these quarterly luncheons with my clients, in the beginning, my boss wouldn't take me. And I couldn't understand why. And he was the first openly gay first vice president in that bank. So when he finally took me, this is what I got. This is how my clients looked at me. But then at the end of the meal, we were fine. It was great. But what my boss wanted to teach me was that I would always, or at least mostly, be looked at differently and judged, and that I could either be intimidated or use it to be empowered. So I chose empowerment. So then I had the nerve as the resident black girl in Mountain View to run for office. And they're like, "What are you doing? You're not going to win. No, this is not your place right here." And they were right. I didn't win, at least not the election. But I did gain respect, and I wasn't really thinking about that. And I got to be an influencer in my community. It's something really cool about having a firefighter sing happy birthday to you at your job. It's really cool. And I got to meet Maxine Waters and hang out with her. And Kamala Harris, when she was just the San Francisco Attorney General. And again, being able to influence local leaders, it was great. But then something else happened. I applied for this program called Leadership Mountain View. You might know it here as Leadership Tomorrow. And I wanted to just be an applicant, but they were like, "No, we want you to be a director." And I was like, "That's cool. I can run a program." But I didn't realize the full breadth of what that meant. So these images up here has nothing to do with the social media per se, but I had the program leads and VPs of these companies in my class. And I'm teaching them how to be leaders in the community. Again, I'm intimidated, but then I remember what my first boss taught me. Let your reputation precede you. So I let those people talk great about me on LinkedIn. It was awesome. But then something else happened, the economy. And so right before I left Mountain View, this was my last class, and I got folks from NASA, the community relations person for LinkedIn, all these people that some of you want to get to know, I know them. And so I figured out that I couldn't afford to live in California anymore. And my thing was like, I'm in my 40s now. I got to do this shit all over again. I got to start over and let people know who I am and get ingrained. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I went to Edmonds of all places. And I said, not only am I going to run for office again, I'm also going to go into corporate fundraising. Two places where people like me don't show up. I didn't win that election again. But they stopped calling me the California carpetbagger. And I got to sit on 3 or 4 different boards now when I had to quit. But I also got to do great things being this black woman in corporate fundraising. So will I ever look the part? I hope not. Because in all of the things that I had to do and make decisions of, I would have not been able to be where I am today if I wasn't faced with those challenges. So the moral of the story is to turn your obstacles into opportunities. Initially for yourself, because you have to, but now I hope that my experience helps others to be able to make those same decisions. Thank you. you.